Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury is one of those animes that came out during the fall season of 2022, and at first I didn't really think much of it when I was first starting to watch it. However, as the episodes went by, I slowly realized this is probably one of the best mecha animes to come out in modern times. Despite me not being a Gundam fan and not watching any of the other Gundam series, I watched this one because not only is it anime original, meaning you can watch this series without having to watch the other Gundam series, and not only that, but it was also being done by the studio Sunrise, the same anime studio that's responsible of making such memorable animes like Cowboy Bebop and Code Geass. But in today's video, I'm not just simply going to be talking about everything that happened in The Witch from Mercury. No, today we'll be talking about a certain particular person that is in this series and how one episode completely gave us a different view of that character, and how one episode alone showed us a different side of that character that we've never seen before, and that is none other than Suletta Mercury. Suletta Mercury is a very interesting character in the series because throughout the episodes, we thought that we had a clear picture of what kind of person Suletta is. However, that all completely changed during the last episode, in which we got to see a different side of Suletta, one that not only shocked the viewers watching the series, but also the characters in the series as well. But before we get into that certain episode, let's just talk briefly about who Suletta is and what is her backstory. So with that, let's just begin. Suletta is the main protagonist of The Witch from Mercury, and it was very clearly shown in the beginning that her past wasn't that great, because we find out that the laboratory that she was in that also had her family was suddenly attacked, which as a result, not only did she lose her father, but her and her mother were pretty much the only few survivors after the attack. Some years go by and Suletta is eventually transferred to a school that specializes in technology. That school is run by the Banneret Group, a group that is dominating the mobile suit industry, and throughout the series we see Suletta give us an idea of what kind of person she is based on her personality, but also her ideals as well. You see, Suletta is a very timid person and she usually doesn't know how to react on certain situations. As for her, certain situations are always new experiences for her since she's never done them before due to her always being alone. However, despite her being timid and nervous, she always shows how strong she is based on what she feels and what she thinks is right, as she has shown throughout the series how she will always try to help people and protect people who she feels are being treated unfairly. And one of these characters she protected was none other than Miorin, a character that will leave a huge impact in Suletta's life, but also open her eyes on the things that are happening around her, not just the school. You see, it was because of Miorin that Suletta was starting to now realize and understand some of the issues that are happening in the world, whether it's people being ridiculed and being treated unfairly due to their status, or characters being expected to do things based on their reputation or their status that they are in the world. However, these kind of things never really drastically changed Suletta's character. Sure, she started to realize the issues that were happening around her, but she never fully changed as a person because of that. And while of course we do eventually find out throughout the series that Suletta has a deep connection with the Gundam that she uses that causes a bit of concern for the other characters, it doesn't drastically change the kind of character that she is, because she always acts like her very usual self. However, that is until we start to meet Suletta's mother and what her actual true intentions are in the series. As mentioned before, Suletta's mother was one of the survivors that survived the attack of the laboratory that she was in, and she would soon later find out who was the person behind that attack, or to be more specific, who was the person who decided to launch that attack in the first place. This would be Miorin's father. It's very clear from this information that Suletta's mother wants revenge and wants to make sure that the man responsible for making that decision to launch the attack at them gets what he deserves. And in fact, later on in the series we find out that she actually planned on Suletta going to the same school as Miorin. She was very quick to find out that he actually did have a daughter that was around the same age as Suletta, showing us that she was willing to use Suletta, her own daughter, as a pawn in order to get her revenge plan in motion. But despite showing her true intentions, it's very clear that she has Suletta under control, as throughout the series we see that Suletta has full-on trust on her mother and believes that everything what her mother says to actually be true, and there's no way that she will ever lie to her, which is clearly showing us once again that while Suletta thinks that her mother has good intentions, that is not the case, and in fact it's the other way around. It's very clear from these moments that Suletta's mom is just really good at making sure that Suletta listens and fully trusts her, showing us just how good she is at manipulating her own daughter. And this will be clearly shown in the final episode, the episode that once again showed us a different side of Suletta that we would never seen before, and one that we were not expecting. And this would be in episode 12, in which Suletta and some of the other characters of the series are attacked by an enemy. As despite Suletta trying to figure out what she should do and realizing that there's so many enemies around her, there is one person that comes to her rescue, and that is none other than Suletta's mother. However, things start to take a dark turn for Suletta as she starts witnessing her mother being able to kill the enemies very freely, almost as if this is nothing new and this is something that she has done before. Of course, this is a moment that completely shocks Suletta, and it's very clear that she's never witnessed other people dying right in front of her. But despite seeing her daughter in complete shock, she then tries to comfort Suletta and tries to convince her that what she did was absolutely correct, stating that not only were these people enemies, but she stated that had she not killed them, she would have probably have lost Suletta, and that is something that she did not want to happen. Now, you may be saying that this is just a case of a mother trying to protect her daughter, but you have to remember her true intentions. Remember, Suletta's mother is clearly out for revenge for the person who initiated the attack that happened many years ago. It's very clear that she hasn't let go of the past, and it was very clearly shown that she's willing to do anything in order to get her revenge, even if it means using her daughter as a pawn as well. So if you think about it, most likely the reason why Suletta's mother even saved Suletta in the first place is because her revenge plan wouldn't work. She realizes that without Suletta, she won't get the revenge that she wants. I know I'm just speculating here, but I mean, if she's willing to use her daughter as part of her revenge plan, then I wouldn't be surprised if she's willing to do anything else in order to get her revenge on the person that she hates the most. And because it is Suletta we're talking about and how much trust she has on her mother, she completely believes everything that her mother says. So when her mother was explaining this all to her, it was very clear that she was already starting to believe everything that she was saying, showing us once again just how good of a manipulator Suletta's mother is. And then towards the end, we see a scene in which Myorin is trying to help her father after being injured due to the attack that they dealt with. An enemy comes out of nowhere, and it's very clear that this enemy was about to hurt Myorin. However, in the matter of seconds, Suletta with her Gundam arrives and with no hesitation whatsoever completely destroys this enemy and squashes him like he was just some sort of bug. And of course, this shocks Myorin, as she was never expecting Suletta to be able to kill someone just like that with no hesitation whatsoever. And to make this scene even more dark and creepy, Suletta seems to not really be bothered by this. In fact, when she hops out of her Gundam, she actually steps on the blood of the person that she just killed. Also, some of this person's blood lands on her hands as well, but Suletta doesn't seem to be bothered by this. Remember, a few scenes ago, she was in shock and pretty much scared at the fact that she saw someone die right in her eyes. But after her conversation with her mother, it seems that now she's completely fine seeing someone die right in front of her, and doesn't seem to be bothered, scared, or even traumatized at the fact that she just killed someone with her Gundam. All she does is just keep moving forward and extends her hand to help Myorin out, which, of course, right now, Myorin is in a state of shock and can't believe what she just witnessed with her very own eyes. And it was at this moment that we got to see a different side of Suletta. Who would have thought that the girl that was timid and nervous all the time and had no idea how to react to certain situations was perfectly fine with killing a person just like that? And of course, I've seen some people say how this was cold-blooded of her to do. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say it was cold-blooded, because this in the end is still an enemy. Like, this enemy still had intentions of harming Myorin, so regardless, he was still technically an enemy. And let's be honest, had Suletta not done anything, most likely this enemy would have seriously harmed Myorin. But with that being said, I think what makes this scene extremely dark is just overall Suletta's reaction towards the whole thing. She has no reaction whatsoever. There's not a hint of her being sad, being scared, or angry at the fact that she just killed someone. No, for her it was just simply like something that she would normally typically do, which at this moment it made me realize that Suletta wasn't just simply a simple character. It was very clear she completely listens and trusts whatever her mother says and tells her, because it seems that Suletta won't do anything extreme unless her mother tells her to do it, or gives her a reason why she should do things in a certain way. And that is probably the most scariest thing about this, because if you think about it, this just showed that Suletta is capable of doing very messed up things or very insane things as long as if her mother tells her to do it. Like, as long as her mother tells her that it's okay, she is willing to do those kind of things, which once again, this is a side of Suletta that I didn't think would exist, but it does exist. And that is how in just one episode, we got to see a different side of Suletta, and a side that we didn't think would ever appear, but it did. This series did a good job hiding the fact that Suletta is capable of doing anything as long as her mother tells her that it's okay to do it. And if there's another thing that this episode showed, is that this probably won't be the last time we see something insane Suletta do. This is probably only just the beginning. And overall, that's pretty much the entire video. I'm really excited for season 2 to come out later this year because I mean this series is really interesting to watch, and after this episode it just makes me want to see more of it and see how the story is going to continue, what's going to happen after this big moment of the series, but we'll just have to wait and see. And with that, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you next time.